where I was sitting in a psychologist's office, deeply suicidal, and he said to me, "Well, you have depression and anxiety and panic disorder, and this is something that you will learn to live with. You won't heal from it, but you will learn to live with it." And I remember leaving his office and walking across the car park and thinking, well, no. As far as I can see, my two options are, one, I'm just going to end it because there's no way on any level for me I can live a life, a full life like this or any version of this. Or I'm going to work out how I got here and then how to get out of it. Back in 2018, no one was talking about human design. And I just realized that was the universe saying, well, you wanted the exact piece. This is the exact piece. And from the moment I started running my experiment, literally my purpose just evolved in front of me.
What if the reason you're burnt out isn't because you're doing too much, but because you're doing it in a way that goes against your natural design? Most of us have been conditioned to believe we have to hustle harder, push through exhaustion, and keep saying yes, even when our body is screaming no. But what if your energy was never meant to work that way? What if your burnout is really your soul's way of saying you're out of alignment? In this episode, human design master coach Emma Dunwoody reveals how to decode your own energetic blueprint, the way you are uniquely wired to create, lead, rest, and thrive. You'll learn why some people are natural initiators while others are here to guide, respond, or reflect, and how understanding this can change everything: your work, your relationship, your health, even how you parent. Because once you understand your true energy type, whether you're a manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, projector, or reflector, life stops feeling like resistance. You stop forcing and then you start flowing. So if you've been feeling drained, disconnected, or like you've lost your spark, stay right here. What you're about to hear might just be the permission your body has been waiting for. Enjoy. Well, I have another amazing, super amazing guest, actually, all the way from Byron Bay in Australia. And I'm really excited about this topic because it is something that's quite complex, but Emma Dunwoody has made it simple for us. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm super excited, super excited. So before we unpack it, we always love to ask, what inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, look, it's a long story, so I won't take up too much time. But I think the thing that really inspired me to do what I do today was a diagnosis that I received at 28. I'm 50 now, so it was a while ago, where I was sitting in a psychologist's office, deeply suicidal. And he said to me, well, you have depression and anxiety and panic disorder. And this is something that you will learn to live with. You won't heal from it, but you will learn to live with it. And I remember leaving his office and walking across the car park and thinking, well, no. As far as I can see, my two options are, one, I'm just going to end it because there's no way on any level for me I can live a life, a full life like this or any version of this. Or I'm going to work out how I got here and then how to get out of it. And that was actually this, inspirational moment. It was my initiation in my belief. It was my initiation into my purpose because I was at the lowest point of my life, yet I had the courage to say to the leading specialist actually in Melbourne at the time, no, I don't receive your diagnosis. And in fact, I'm going to find a way to heal myself. So that was really the thing that initiated me onto my path. And that path has been long and winding. I became a master coach in 2015 and I started a coaching business, and that was amazing. And it was, getting traction. But in 2018, I was like, how can I have healed my mental health, completely changed my life, like left an advertising career and started this coaching thing that I love. And, I've got two amazing children and like had all this joy and still feel like there's this big hole, like something's missing. And that was the time where I actually went and did a thing called the Camino, which is a pilgrimage. It's a 800-kilometer walk across Spain. Actually, it starts in the south of France. Um, and at the end of it, because the whole intention was to really discover my purpose. And at the end of the Camino, I felt like I had completely grown, changed, and evolved, but yet there was still this missing piece. And I just said to the universe, all right, I feel like I've learned my lessons. You've given me so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't want to be greedy, but could you just be a little bit more specific? Sorry, excuse me. And could you be a little clearer on exactly what that last piece is for me? And when I got home from Spain, in the 48 hours after I got home, everyone asked me about human design. Human design just appeared everywhere. Now, it had come onto my radar 2 times before, but I was like, although I'm a little bit woo, I'm definitely spiritual, like in the closet with my spirituality. I'm not taking that to my corporate CEOs. Like, no. And then the second time I was, put off by its negative language and complexity. And then this time, back in 2018, no one was talking about human design. It wasn't like now that everyone's talking about it. And I just realized that was the universe saying, well, you wanted the exact piece. This is the exact piece. So on that, in that 48-hour period, I committed to running my human design experiment. And from the moment I started running my experiment, literally my purpose just evolved in front of me. Like each yellow brick of my yellow brick road would just appear in front of me. And as a 3/5 emotional manifesting generator, I would just respond to the next piece and respond to the next piece. And yeah, now I'm here wanting to take human design mainstream. I really believe that, yes, it was birthed in kind of the spiritual part of, spiritual development and personal development. However, I really believe that it's got a massive implication on all sorts of things, things like education and even wealth, like so many areas.
I love that. And before we got on the show, I was explaining to Emma that human design has crossed my path and it's really complex, absolutely complex. So maybe let's start with human design. There are 5 types. Is that correct? What are those 5 types?
So we have manifestors. So manifestors are our initiators. They start the flame. They're the creative, like the guy who actually channeled the human design information. He is a manifestor. So initiators. Then we have our generators. Our generators are our builders. So once they're inspired into action, they're like, right, let's go build. I mean, look at Oprah, right? The moment that she loves something, she wants to go build it. Then we have our hybrid, which is part generator, predominantly generator, but part manifestor. That's you and I, a manifesting generator. So we're here to be inspired into action and build, but we're also here to demonstrate human potential. We're the non-linear beings. Sometimes we can feel like too much to other people. We're a lot. That's our journey. That's what we're here to be. Then we have our projectors, who are our guides. So if our manifestors have initiated us into something, then our generators, our manifesting generators, are building it. Our projectors are going, right, now I reckon if you do a little more of this and a little less of that, whatever that is, they're improving systems. They're helping us do it better. And then we have our reflectors. So our reflectors are our truth bombs. They're the people that actually show us, reflect back the truth of where we're at. Now, that could be in a relationship, that could be in a family, that could be in a community, that could be in a business, that could be in a collective, a country. These are the people that are really showing us the truth of, where we're at.
And I don't know if I remember reading somewhere because there seems to be, I think they're a lower percentage, the reflectors. Is that right? Like there's something like 1%. Is that correct?
They're 1%. They're 1%. So we have like around 10% manifestors, then generators and manifesting generators make up just over 70%. Then we have about 14% projectors. And then, just 1 for our reflectors.
So how does that work? I mean, because I love to understand how that would work. Like even a relationship, even working with one another, understanding. So I'd love to even understand what my team is like. So understanding their strengths and maybe where I'm lacking an area, maybe, the reflector or the projector. Like, how do we work well with one another? Do we clash? Do we work better, even in relation, do we work better with one or the other, or how does it all work?
Yeah, so I fundamentally believe that, there is no perfect answer. There's no perfect person. There's no like one goes better than the other. I mean, there's a lot of teachers that would teach that, and I actually fundamentally disagree with that. However, one of the things the way I like to look at it is we're taught this golden rule, right? The golden rule is to treat others as you would like to be treated. But what human design says is no, treat others as they are designed to be treated. So what that means is that all of a sudden we're not projecting our perception of reality onto someone else and expecting them to be like us. We're actually saying, okay, well, who are you designed to be? What is your energy like? And instead, we can treat people differently. So let me give you an example. In my business, my core team, there's 3 manifesting generators. Okay. So it's me as the visionary. Then I've got my COO, my alchemist. She's also a manifesting generator. Then we've got like our implementer who is also a manifesting generator. And someone said to me not long ago, they're like, well, I'm a projector, so I obviously need manifesting generators. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's not that easy. You can't just say, well, I want to expand a business, I want to grow a business, so I need an MG. No, you don't. You need the correct energy for you, because people would come in and work with us. And like a projector, we'd be so much. We're hectic. We're all over the place. We're non-linear. Like our like deadlines, they don't exist. Like we can't just do. We need so much freedom. We once worked with an incredible like consultant to help scale the business, and this consultant, and she scaled a business from like 0 to 18 million. Like this woman knows what she's doing. And she's a generator, and generators are a lot more linear. They're like, right, this is the path. We're going to have a 90-day planning cycle and da 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 da. And we just couldn't do it. We're like, no, that's not the way we work. And it would drive her crazy. So at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to trust your design is going to actually bring the right people to you. So let's say if you're in business, like for you specifically, if you understand the people in your team and their design, you're going to know what their superpowers are. So for you specifically, you're a 4/6 emotional manifesting generator. Okay. So, you're here to build whatever it is, you're here to build the thing that lights you up. Now, you're going to do that because you're a 4/6. You're going to do that through relationships, because the 4 is all about relationship building, networking. Like a dear friend of mine that does marketing by design, she jokes that when it comes to marketing for the line 4s, like they don't need to market because it's all about their relationships. Like networking is marketing for these people. Like they know people that know people that know people. Like my PR person, that's why I have such incredible guests on the podcast, or get onto incredible podcasts, because of her network of relationships. So then, you're going to know, like maybe there's someone in your team that's a projector, and you're going to know that their superpower is to see really deep into the nuances and efficiencies. So how can we do this better? Now, the beauty is that we can go even deeper. So your incarnation cross is the cross of rulership. Now, my coaching team, we had 2 of them were crosses of rulership. And the cross of rulership is really someone that is here to define what power means and to redefine what power means, because we're moving out of this time of this patriarchal power, me leader, me dominate, you do what you're told, into this empowerment, this independence, this interdependence. So the crosses of rulership right now are working really hard to break this old patriarchal paradigm and to create this new power paradigm. So I don't know if that resonates with you, but yeah.
100%. It really does. At the same time, I'm like thinking, like, because I remember the information I had to give was like my what I would ask somebody for an astrology chart, their name, their time of birth, their place of birth, that kind of thing. So, and then I was just also wondering whether it's linked into a little bit of numerology at the same time, as you're speaking about number 4s. Number 4 is about security, and it build through security is building those strong relationships. I'm relating to everything you're saying, by the way. Absolutely.
It's human design. I mean, this is the thing that, I entered into this just with a commitment to run my experiment, because because that's what human design is. It's not a dogma, it's an experiment. And if you get the guidebook and understand yours and you just run the experiment, like, is this true for me or not? What you're going to find is that you start to get language for what you already feel on the inside. And I think this is the big power player for me, is because we need to understand that our power comes from our authenticity. Like, if we look at the Hawkins scale of consciousness, right? Authenticity is really, really high on the scale of consciousness, meaning that the more authentic we are, the higher our consciousness is. And human design is really, in my opinion, the best and the fastest way, because I'm a manifesting generator, so I want the freaking fastest way, please, to raise our consciousness. And what it does is it really gives you permission to be you. And I love to always say it, like, it gives you language for what you feel like, what you feel on the inside. You know, as a small child, even, I always felt like I need to leave this world better than I found it. I mean, what 5-year-old thinks that? What 5-year-old feels that way? Well, align 5, because we have this energy within us that wants to globalize and have an impact. We want to have an impact on a global scale. So again, like, it gives you the language to what you're feeling on the inside. And once you can language that, well, what starts to happen is you start to realize, oh my God, I do love myself. I can trust myself. I actually really do matter. I don't look like anyone else. I am different, and that's important, and it's okay, and it's safe. And I feel like human design really is this way that we can get our ultimate permission slip to be ourselves and see the value and the worth and the importance of being our most authentic self.
I love that. What you were saying before, I was just trying to understand, are we meant to, because it makes sense, because I mean, I'm thinking about even like when I do corporate stuff, you and I are so aligned, so aligned. I was a closet woo-woo for years. But so when I, on certain different topics where you actually step out of your style into the style of the other person to speak the language so that you're almost unconsciously connecting or building rapport. But how do you do that? Because it sounds like what you're saying, step out of your style into somebody else's style. So as a manifesting generator, how then not would I then step into a projector or reflector when I probably don't even know how to do that? Or I don't even know what their styles are.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, like, for me personally, and again, the book Human Design Made Simple is going to help you with this. And maybe you even get the book and you start with your family, you know, like, for all the parents out there, how many of you have children that you're like, well, they're like freaking aliens? Like, I can do all these things. Why can't they do all these things? Or, oh my God, I can't do anything. And the bloody things, the kids won't sit still. Like, it's because there's such a difference in the design. So how's it going to show up? Well, let's say with parenting. Sorry. Let's say with parenting, we live in a time right now where parents send their kids to so many extracurricular activities, right? Like, crazy. Now, if you have a generator or a manifesting generator and your kids are doing sports 3 times a week, then great. Good on you. Congratulations, because those are the kids that can't sit still in class, especially the MGs. If they're boys, like, throw that into the mix. Those poor kids are not designed to sit still and learn. So if they're out playing soccer 3 nights a week, then that's fantastic. But if you have a manifestor, a projector, or a reflector who sits at school all day, taking in everyone else's energy, processing everyone else's freaking emotions, then you expect that kid to go to sport or music or whatever. Like, you're burning that, you're teaching that kid how to burn themselves out really, really young. So what it's all about is really being able to understand each other's design, starting with the fundamentals, like we spoke about, type, understanding how they're designed to make decisions, what we call authority. So I have 2 sacral authority kids. And one of the things that I've taught them, because I'm an emotional authority like you, so I make my decisions over time. Okay. And it's not a thinking process. It's not like, you know, I put 4 columns and decide what. No, it's a feeling process, but it's a feeling process that's made over time. I'm waiting for emotional clarity. And emotional clarity is like neutrality. Okay. So for an emotional being like you and I, we ride this wave. It's like hot. When we're high, it's a yes to everything. And when we're low, it's a no to everything. So that can really veil or put a veil over what is actually correct for us. So we're waiting for this neutrality where oh yeah, it's absolutely correct or it's not. Whereas with my kids, they're sacral. So in the moment, they know, that's correct for me. So as their mother, if I didn't know this, I'd say, sleep on it. But I've learned to say, trust your gut, you go for it. Like whatever your gut says, go for it. So all of a sudden, whether it's raising children or empowering team members, we're actually supporting them the way they're designed. So they're going to make better decisions. They're going to feel more aligned. They're going to feel more like that they can be themselves, remove the masks. Yeah, there's just so many bonuses. Like once you start to understand even the fundamentals of not only your design, but those around you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking this is huge in schools. I can't tell you how many children at the moment are going through anxiety. Teenagers, 13, 14-year-olds. And, I wonder, like for me, I just, I don't know if I'm sure you've worked with schools, but I just think this would be a really big piece for schools. Do you do a lot of work with schools?
I don't yet.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, we have so many teachers in our community. I do feel like I'm big on intuition as well. And I do feel like I'm intuitively guided to potentially even create my own school one day. I'm so sorry. I'm just recovering from a.
No, that's okay. Take your time.
I'm just going to grab a lozenge.
And you know what? There is that happening. I remember Pam Gregory. She came on the show. She was talking about how people are starting their own communities, are starting their own little schools. And so as you were saying that, I can see it's that people moving towards that. People are moving to come out of the system into something that's more aligned with the individual, working with the self, because you can't apply the same rule for everybody.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's what the human design is, the science of differentiation. So what it presupposes is that we are all completely different and unique. And that in itself is important and valuable. And I do believe that people are moving away. I mean, I know for me personally, my big goal is to buy a big property in the hinterland here as soon as my youngest son's finished school. And I'm going to build a house on it. I think I've got about 5 friends that are all going to be a part of it. We're just going to build our own community, create a sustainable farm, do the whole thing. And, potentially, my kids will be all grown up, but I would love to build a school one day because at the end of the day, we have been conditioned and trained to be obedient minions. And one of the things that we're at this point in human history is we're starting to realize, hang on a second, the power is with the people, and the people don't want to be obedient minions. They want to be happy. They want to take care of each other. They want to be in community and enjoy each other and take care of each other and be loved and realize, hey, I can heal myself and I can help you heal. Or I do this thing that I love to do. How about we share, and you help me and I help you? Because fundamentally, that's who we are as humans at our core. And I feel like this is what this big awakening is about, is we don't want to be a minion. We don't want to be the person that makes you billions of dollars for whatever you think's important while you're trying to kill us off. We actually want to enjoy our life and love each other. So for me personally, I feel like human design is a really powerful way that once we discover our own self-power and sovereignty and we really connect to that, then we really start to see the beauty and the individuality in others. And then, the power's back in the people's hands. That's a bit of a rant, I'm afraid, but hey,
no,
that's who I am.
Hallelujah, amen. I'm right there with you, Emma. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I'll be right there with you. Building a community, a school, I'd be supporting you 100% because I think we are heading in that direction, 100%. So, what I'm curious about, right, is so you were talking about you and I, manifestor generators, MGs is just much easier. What about if you're a projector or a reflector, do they tend to start their own business? Because I'm thinking about there are people out there who getting involved in business and bang, like you were saying, you had a generator to come and support you, like a business coach almost, to take it to the next level. What about, do we see people that are projectors or reflectors in business?
Yes.
Like I'm just thinking you need a bit of a combination of everything, right? Because I'm thinking, God, I haven't even thought of that.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing. I mean, some people would say there's an arm of human design called BG5, and they're like, you have to have all of the boxes ticked. You have to have one of these and one of these. And again, I just call bullshit on that. And the reason why is because, of course, a manifestor or a projector or a reflector can be in business. I mean, Taylor Swift's a projector. She seems to be doing all right. The thing is, what is more important is, and because I teach a lot of business, is that are you creating the business that's aligned for your energy? So, for example, having a business, and straight from the word go, when it was just me, I'm a manifesting generator. So what did I do? I threw a lot of things, like I threw a lot of paint at the wall. I did a lot of doing. I read a lot of books. I did a lot of classes and courses. And for me, I have the energy for it. And I loved it and it was great. And if there's an MG that's starting a business in our community, then I'd be all for them. Like, you go for it. But if there's a projector, I'm like, straight off the bat, I'm like, okay, we need to take care of your energy. So, for example, we've just created this chatbot called Maggie, and she's changing people's lives because she's basically the masculine structure of the business, meaning you put all your human design information in there. Not only is she going to help you with your human design, but she's going to help you with your marketing, your website, your strategy, like all the stuff. And like if I've got a manifestor, projector, or reflector, I'm going to be like, you need to get onto Maggie straight away, because we need to make sure that the energy that they have available is for being the visionary, for being the leader, for being whoever they need to be in their business, not where you and I, especially in the beginning, where we'd still be, tired, but we'd have the energy to kind of be everything, whereas these other types don't necessarily. So there's just strategies depending on, who the person is, the role they want to be, what the service is. There are a lot of teachers that have very like black and white. If you're this, then you should do that. And I fundamentally disagree with it. Like, I don't think there is a one size fits all for anyone. But the thing that I really believe in is this energetic blueprint, your roadmap. And when you understand your roadmap, you understand your superpowers. For me, my life's work, and this is using Gene Key's language now, it's all about community. It's the communities I build. I would never have realized that that's the thing that I'm really good at, because I can, magnetize, whether it's a mastermind or a retreat or a group of friends or anything. Like, I always get, asked to create all these different containers, communities. I would never have realized that that's actually part of my life's work, because it's just something that, I don't know, it just happens. So again, human design helps us see like, okay, well, that is part of my superpower. That is how I'm serving the planet. And that doesn't matter whether I'm a manifesting generator or a projector. So ultimately, the better we know ourselves, the better we can build the business around us that supports us best.
I love that, because I think that links into what you were saying, where you are searching for your purpose, and that human design gives you the roadmap to like and understanding what your purpose is.
Yeah.
When you were talking, it's interesting because you were talking about, is it the projectors where they have to be careful of their energy because they could experience burnout? I thought it'd be the MGs because I know for me, I've experienced 2 burnouts because I'm always high on energy. Honestly, sometimes people go, Catherine, what are you on? Like, chill out. And I don't even drink coffee. But I'm like this all the time. I can't drink coffee. Coffee takes me to that next level.
Yeah.
And so I thought it'd be more like the MGs because they were constantly on the go that would tend to experience burnout because they don't know when to stop, compared to the projectors.
Okay. So
it seems to be the other way around.
Well, it is. So there's one of the other things about human design. It actually gives us, there's a distinction. Okay. So burnout as we know it, this is like, I can't do anymore. I'm on the couch. I'm in the doctor's office. Like, I'm out, right? And most times that's going to be what we call a non-sacral being, reflector, projector, or manifestor, right? Whereas generators and manifesting generators, we do this thing called functional burnout. So we just keep going and going and going, but we literally disconnect from the passion of life, like our life force. It's gone. We don't care about anything anymore. We just like Groundhog Day. We don't know what's happened because we just don't love life anymore. And, we really are exhausted, but we can keep going. So that is like the fundamental difference is that we'll just keep working ourselves and working ourselves and working ourselves into the ground because we can keep going. Whereas the other types literally will tend to get very much stopped in their tracks.
Right. Yeah, I can relate to that 100%. I keep going and keep going until my body says stop. But yeah,
Exactly.
so I see. Okay, so that makes it interesting. Okay, so then how do we, because with human design, I think there's a level of deconditioning, I think, right?
Yeah.
So how does that, because we've all been programmed, and then so then for us, we'll get the book, we'll do the course. How do we then, for me, overworking, people pleaser, I can only talk from my experience, right? So how do we then decondition, once we understand our human design, how do we deprogram or decondition ourselves?
So once we understand our superpowers, then we're also understanding our shadows, right? So, for example, your superpower as a manifesting generator is that you have a lot of energy. You're multi-passionate. You're here to demonstrate human potential. So you'll also tend to move faster, skip steps, work stuff out. People are like, I don't even know how you do what you do. So this is a superpower. But the shadow of that is, well, you've always been that person, so you take on too much responsibility. You don't have boundaries. You say yes when you mean no. And then, so your superpower gets turned into your conditioning or your shadow. So every part of our design, from the macro, which is our type, right down to our gates and our channels, which are all like the numbers and the lines, they all have a shadow. So once we understand these deeper levels of our shadow, then we can start to identify the behavior. And once we're aware of it, then we can change it. That's really the thing with our subconscious mind is if we're unaware, if we're unconscious, then there's not much we can do about it. But the moments we become conscious of it, then we can. Do you want to just have a quick look at your design on do you still have it up on the other screen?
Let me see.
And go back down to your incarnation cross, the
Yep,
rulership piece, and give me the 4 gates, the
for
4
sure.
numbers.
The 4, so gifts and gates, I've got a whole lot.
Well, just after the rulership, whatever on the line, the right angle, it says the right angle cross of rulership and then
Oh,
4 numbers.
2247, 2645.
Okay. Okay. So let's take, for example, the 22. So the 22, that's falling into a place that it's your personality, sun in human design. It is your life's work in the gene keys. Okay. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about with the gene keys, don't worry about it. I don't want to overcomplicate things
We have
anymore than I need
had
to.
Richard Rudd on the show.
Amazing. So you know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what that's telling me straight away is that, sorry, is that you are definitely going to have a journey that is about your voice. It's about, because the 22, it is this emotional energy. It is this energy that it's what we call an individual energy. It's something that you're not taught as a kid, that because a 22 can move people. Like, this is the ability to move people with emotion and, using that voice of yours. But it's also moody. So it's all about using your voice when you're in the mood to use it. Because when you're not in the mood, if you're in an emotional low, then the power your voice has to move people is going to move people in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
So how our conditioning works is that once we understand the shadows or the fear-based part of our energy, we also understand the higher expressions or the love-based part of our energy. So, the lesson for the 22, very oversimplified for you, is I will use my voice to move people when it's correct for me, instead of allowing other people's opinions or other people's expectations or other people's whatever, or my people pleasing, to force me to use my voice when I'm not ready to use it. So there's always going to be a few lessons in there somewhere. Does that
Oh,
resonate?
yeah. Oh, yes. 100%. Okay,
Yeah.
100%. Yes. It is very much like me because I am very passionate. And even, people say it comes out in my voice when I speak or when I'm running classes. It's like, you're so passionate. I can feel the emotion. But at the same time, I also have to learn to bite my tongue because you're talking about external interference here when there's triggers. And I love the triggers because they teach me there's things I still need to work through. But I am sometimes very yeah, I think sometimes if I speak when I'm not ready to speak, the voice of the emotion doesn't come out the way that I want it to come out. And so of course, yes, it affects and impacts other people. So yeah, I have to say that I am better at it now as I am evolving.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm nearly 60. So for me, I am better at that over time, definitely improving over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's the whole journey, right? That's what I love, when we sort of overlay the gene keys with human design, like it's literally giving us this journey from fear to love to enlightenment, through each gene key. So for me, I feel like human design is really amplifying our personal and spiritual development. If we're willing to look at the roadmap and accept these things about ourselves, then we have the invitation to step into the greatness that lives within us.
Yeah, I love it. So, Emma, I'm sure our audience are going. So, what's the process? So you were saying you work with a lot of businesses. So you've got the beautiful book behind you, Human Design Made Simple. What is talk us through a process? So you're working with businesses. We do have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this show as well. What are they to expect? Do they come and work with you? What are some of the things that you look for apart from obviously going through their human design? What does that look like?
Well, I think a lot of again, I'm a manifesting generator, so I don't have one option. I have five. Because again, that's the way we're designed. But really, look, I work with people, even within our program, we have like a business pathway and we have a personal pathway where you just want to learn about your human design or your family's human design. Or you want to learn so you can use human design with others in your business. And then I teach a lot about, starting, growing and scaling a business that really is about breaking all the business rules, because ultimately it's about understanding how you're designed to grow a business, how you're designed to scale a business. Because there's just so many people out there saying, well, this is the only way. This is the way. I had a 7-figure launch and this is how you do it. No, that's how you did it. And I think that this is what most people miss, is that all of these teachers and all of these successful people, they're telling you their system that worked for them. Whereas the way we teach is we're going to show you your system that's inside of you so that you can build your success the way you're designed to succeed. And ultimately that's what we really want for people. We want people to be able to, because the business that I build, I want to live all over the world. I'm a line 3 profile, so I want to live all over the world. I want to travel a lot. I want to speak on, I'm speaking on stages and I want to speak on bigger stages. Like I'm running in-person retreats. I'm running masterminds. We've got our group program, because that lights me up. But the moment something doesn't, that's it. I just can it. And I think one of the things that I love inside my community is, like often I will just get feedback like, wow, like you really do live your design. Because the old version of me was that type A personality. Probably not too type A, like details have never been my thing, but I am a high achiever. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it well. Everything's about, my greatness. And so the old me used to be very, Tony Robbins-esque, in that sort of world. This me is like, hey, shit, I've got a class that I'm teaching in my community and I'm not feeling well, or, I need to take my kids somewhere, and I will just be honest and say, look, I want to, do the best I possibly can for you as my community. So we're going to move it a day. And like, that was the hardest thing for me to do, But this is also how I'm aligned. This is me being aligned in business. This is me breaking all these patriarchal rules about how we should show up with the same energy every day. You guys can, because men are designed to. The energetic cycle for a man is a 24-hour cycle. Ours is 28 days. We cannot turn up the same way every single day. We're just not designed that way. So for me, it's really about, yes, educating and empowering people, but also being that, the authentic role model. Like, yeah, I've created a business. It's a 7-figure business. I'm like you. I get to talk to some of the most incredible humans on the planet on my podcast. But I'm doing this because something inside of me guides me to do this every day. I'm being the most authentic version of me because that's what I want to give to the world. I want to give others permission to be the most authentic version of themselves instead of constantly trying to create someone else's model of success, then feeling like a complete failure because they didn't succeed, and then not letting themselves succeed the way they're actually designed to because it feels comfortable for them because someone else told them it's wrong. And that's the thing for me is I just want people to feel really aligned, authentic, honest, truthful, and empowered in their life, in their business. Because think about that energy. Like if you're coming from that place, like anything that you touch, anything that you do, anything you put out in the world is much higher consciousness than if you're trying to force yourself to be someone that you're not.
100%. It goes back to what you were talking about at the start with Hawkins. You're being your authentic self is standing in your truth, right? And I think our truth, and that's what we are truth, love, and light. Mm-hmm. And the moment we move away from that, we are not alignment with who we truly are. And I think that's really important because I even do that. Sometimes people think that just because I am where I am, I don't have lack of boundaries. I don't do people pleasing. And when I talk about it, they go, what? I'm like, absolutely. I have this, I always say we teach what we must learn.
Yeah.
I haven't got my shit together. Just because I talk about this stuff doesn't mean that I'm perfect or, we were talking about the thumb actually before, right? So it is, I think the more that we can be authentic and show up as our real self, we're giving permission for others to go, oh my gosh, Emma's human. Oh my gosh, she's got stuff going on in her life too, which makes them more connected to you because you're human.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree
design,
more.
Right?
Yeah. And I think the other thing is, I don't know about you, but the thing for me over the years is, looking up to a mentor or a teacher or a coach, and then having this moment of seeing behind the screen and going like, oh, what? Like, how can you preach this and do that? And for me, that lack of integrity, like, I mean, the younger generations can see it coming, a mile away. It's why these older guru type teachers just are not landing with the younger generations because they're like, what's coming out of your mouth and what you feel like are not the same. And I really feel like this is what's so important. Like, we're all human. Every single person is mucking it up sometime. Like, they just are. Like, everyone is finding challenging days. Like, no one is living the perfect life. And anyone who would have you think they are, then they're lying, honestly.
It's true. And it goes back to congruent. If you're not congruent with where you are and what you are, people will pick up on what you're putting down.
100%.
Emma, I could talk to you forever. I am so conscious about your time. Is there any question I haven't asked that you would like to share with our audience before we go to our 3 shiny golden nuggets?
I think just to say, if you are, into the kind of spiritual world or not, like, I would just say the thing about human design is I invite you into the experiment. Like, get the book, Human Design Made Simple, or don't. Go and listen to the podcast for free if you want. You can get your free chart off my site. You can go to the podcast. You can learn everything you need for free. And I just encourage you to run the experiment. Don't listen to me. Don't believe me. Don't believe every other human design expert out there. Go and find out if it's true for you. Go and find out if this is going to make your life better. Because if it is, and if my life and my community's lives are anything to go by, it's going to make your life significantly better. There's going to be so much more flow, so much more abundance, so much more connection. But if it doesn't, then just throw it out. But the whole point is just give it a shot and discover if it's true for you.
I love that. I love the fact that it's not, you're not putting people in a box. It's like, it's actually have a look at it. Does it resonate with you? How do you dance with it? And then what do you do with it? So I love that. Thank you so much, Emma. All right, let's go to our 3 shiny golden nuggets as we start wrapping up. What are those 3 shiny golden nuggets, Emma, that you would like to share with our audience today?
I think number 1 is the thing that I've learnt about success. And it doesn't matter whether it's business success or success in any area of your life. The one fundamental attribute that every successful person has is that they believe in themselves. Believing in yourself is a choice. It's not something that just magically turns up one day. So I really think that my first nugget is just choose to believe in yourself, love yourself, accept yourself every single day. It will change your life. The next golden nugget. The next golden nugget would probably have to be every single thing you're looking for is already in you. And oh my God, this statement used to do my head in. I'm like, yeah, I can feel that that's true, but how do I get at it? And for me, my answer, a lot of that has been human design. But every level I go to, I'm like, oh my God, no, really, everything I'm looking for is within me. So really do believe and know that the magic, the power, the answers, they all lie within you. So have faith in the beauty that you are. And I think the last one, and I used to literally, and you guys will get this because, you know, you're Australian, but I literally had the hat, I bought the t-shirt from Lorna Jane. I know Lorna Jane personally, she's an amazing woman. Never give up. Never give up. If your heart tells you that something is for you and you don't know why and you don't know how, but you just have this knowing, just don't give up. You know, I played such a long game. You know, I had an advertising career. I was diagnosed with depression and panic disorder. I then, you know, it was another decade or 12 years later, 2 other careers where I found coaching. And then it was 3 years after that I found human design. Just never give up because you're always in the journey. You're always on the path. You know, it makes me think of Joseph Campbell. You're already being it. You're already doing it. The thing that you're looking for, you're already taking the steps. So never give up because you have to become the person that can receive whatever the thing is that you want to call in. So just trust that you are where you need to be. And as much as, you know, I've rallied against it for years, like patience, just be patient and never give up.
I love all 3 of those. Absolutely love all 3 of those. So we'll have everything in the show notes. Where do you hang out the most? I know your podcast will have all the links in the show notes. Is there anywhere specifically that you hang out the most on social media?
Yeah, look, I think the 2 primary places would be Instagram, and I have a secret podcast. So secret podcast is really behind the scenes. You're going to hear about really what's going on in my head, let alone in my life. So yeah, they're probably the 2 places that I hang out the most.
Love it. Love it. So we'll have that all in the show notes. Emma, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and even just unpacking human design because it is really complex in my eyes. The way that you've described it, you've made it so digestible. So thank you for your time, your energy and your wealth of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. It's been fun.
Has been fun.